Hello everybody, this is Chiosuke here yet again with another StarCraft replay. So today we are going to be looking at one of the games that I actually lost and doing a little bit of analysis on what I could have done better and the overall strats and things. Obviously, canceling an SCV and rebuilding it is not a good way to start, but this is just a very small minor mistake that's probably not too important of a deal, especially at diamond level I feel. Especially low diamond. Um, anyway, so going into this game, I tried to immediately throw a barracks right here. This was one of the things that I was just testing out because I thought if you put a barracks right here, you can fit an add-on just in this little corner right here, but you can't. And that becomes an incomplete wall, so then Adept Shades can just go into your main base. So, one thing to learn from this game, you can't do this. So my opponent is going to be walling off, and from his build order, it looks like he is only going to be putting 2 in his gas geyser, and going to be sending out a probe to throw down his expansion. So in the meantime, he is going to be coming into my base, going to be a little bit annoying with the probe. I have to pull an SCV off to defend. In the meantime, he comes in kind of late, so I don't have to worry about the probe killing the SCV building the barracks, and I can also help attack the probe with the SCV. So it's a 2-on-1, and I'll always win that fight. And luckily for me, I actually wasn't paying attention to this SCV, so this is another one of the things that I could have done better, is microing this SCV against the probe because I didn't actually look at this engagement, and I could have lost this SCV, which would have been really bad. So, going to be dropping down the mule and getting the orbital or getting more SCVs. I'm going to be throwing down a second barracks. So for this game, I believe I tried to do one of Bjorn's strats, where he goes for 2 barracks, goes into um, medevacs very quickly and does a stem timing push, tries to either drop in the main base or do a nice focused attack at the front. But regardless, continuing to pump out Marines and medevacs. So I see his expansion timing going to be seeing a single Stalker out here, and the single Stalker doesn't really tell me too much, but when I do get in here, I see the Twilight Council very early. So unfortunately, this Reaper couldn't get out, but I did get the critical scouting information that I wanted, and that's pretty much good enough for me. So I can't be more annoying with the Reaper, but on this map can't really do too much more because there's this little gap between his main base and his third base. So I can't just jump off and poke back in a little bit later in the game. So I think sacrificing that was okay. SCV or marine production isn't consistent, but I didn't have the minerals, so I don't think that's too big of an issue at the moment. I don't believe I can throw down a mule either. So second orbital has just now finished, and I do believe I did throw down the mule. He's going to be a little bit annoying with this stalker. So stalker going to be poking in here, constantly doing a quite a bit of damage to my marines, and with a little bit of micro he can just pick off the marines, and we're doing a little bit of a micro dance, but on this map specifically there's no high ground for the natural expansion. So he's able to just consistently poke in and out with these 2 stalkers, and I'm not microing or pulling back and going forward well enough. For me to stop this harass, so he's again just continuing to poke Marines off, and without me killing a single stalker, this has been extremely bad for me. The bunker is a little bit late, and he's able to target down the SCV building the bunker as well, and this was a mistake. I didn't need to pull every single one of my SCVs to continue repairing or building this bunker. In the meantime, continuing to just lose more and more SCVs, or more and more Marines. So I could have had probably 4 or 5 additional Marines at this point. Um, or actually maybe 10? 10 Marines, Jesus. But with his super annoying stalker harass, it's just been very, very annoying. So the stem timing push is about to finish, so I'm continuing to build the Marines. And in the meantime, I think the main issue so far with this has just been the micro of my Marines. I could have been pulling back and poking forward a little bit more rapidly, so it'd be harder for him to get some good pokes off on his stalkers, just enough so that I can get this bunker up. The medevacs are going to be now just finishing, but because of how many marines he picked off, I'm going to be a little bit low, and he just blinks and kills one medevac immediately, and with that I just lost so many of my units. He's lost pretty much nothing. In his production tab he's getting like a lot of gateways, and he has his robo up already. And with this, my macro has completely slipped, and I got up to 800 minerals on 2 bases, which I don't really feel is acceptable. So let's go back a little bit just to see where the macro slipped. So at this point, I think it's mostly okay. These two could have been swapped a little bit earlier, and I think it was just because I was trying to repair the bunker at my natural. I'm going to eventually get these medevacs up. In the production tab, at this point it's okay. I think I could have immediately started my third barracks right now. Yeah, right after the starport finished, I should have thrown down my third barracks and gotten a tech lab on this factory, so I could have just swapped it immediately. With 3 more stalkers at my front, this is bad for me as well. So I think that was the main issue, but we'll look at the engagement one more time and see exactly in the production tab how it could have gone better. So at this point, I'm already floating up to 700, and the third barracks could have been done by this point, but it would have only spent maybe 200 minerals at most if I got 2 marauders. I could have spent some more minerals here by making a marauder instead of a marine. I also could have been starting combat shields, so that would have been another 100. At this point in the game, most of the time I like to put down a third base, and I believe I should have a few more SCVs than this, so I don't believe my SCVs have been consistently produced as well. So I think the main takeaways from this game are just getting this third barracks up a little bit earlier, trying to micro these marines just a little bit better so I can get enough time to get my bunker up, not over pulling SCVs because that lost a lot of mining time as well. And um, besides that, just possibly poking a little bit more um, with my marines before I loaded up into the medevac. Is there any way that I could have known that he was going to blink? I actually don't think that he knew either that I was loading into the medevacs, because I don't believe that. Yeah, he didn't have any observers. He just got a super lucky blink right when I was loading up. So, unfortunate for me. Good timing by him. Could have just done a little bit of poking to see where those stalkers were, or possibly scanned to where his army position normally would have been, like around here, and could have helped me a lot, especially getting marauders against this army composition, since I know he has so many stalkers, would have been really good. Anyway, a lot of things to take away from this game. I hope you guys enjoyed this type of video as well, and I will see you guys later.